Welcome back, everybody. So today we're going to have the first tasting of batch number 3 out of my 5-gallon split batch, first one of 2020. Now, I wanted to take that rye IPA recipe, modify it just a little bit, and brew something else. Now, I always preach, and I always do, just modify your grain bills just a little bit if you want to try something different. That way you know you're going to have a drinkable beer. There have been times in the past where I haven't followed that and just brewed something and maybe the hops were overpowered, couldn't drink it, had to dump it. So for this batch, 9 pounds of 2-row, 1 pound of Caramalt, 1 pound of flaked rye, 1 pound of white wheat. For the boil, 1 hour boil, 1 ounce of Warrior at 60. Then we're going to drop the temperature once boils done down to 170. We're going to Whirlpool 1 ounce of Amarillo, 1 ounce of Chinook, 1 ounce of Citra for 20 minutes. This one is using the DIPA Omega yeast, which is 052. I have used that in the past. Then 3 days into fermentation, we are going to put 0.25 ounces of Azacca in it. This was bottled on 6/18, 7.07%. This is the highest ABV out of them all. All the rest are 6.89%. I'm not sure why this one is a little bit higher. As on my shelf, this would have been the farthest back. Maybe it was a little bit warmer. I can't tell you. So let's go ahead and open it. Little hiss, good smoke. This is using 7 small carbonation tablets. Go ahead and get it into a glass. So the difference between this one and my rye is instead of using the rye malt, I'm using white wheat. That is the only difference. Off-white head, I do have some hot floaties in there. This is an off-white, almost tannish head. It looks a little lighter, a little brighter than the other ones. Small, medium bubbles, not even a half a finger of head. Orange in color, my guess is that is from the Caramalt and from the flaked rye. It's hazy. I can see the light box, and that is about it. Some bubbles coming up, not very many. Let's go ahead and smell. So before I go any further, for the Azacca hops from the internet, where was it? Oh, citrus, big in citrus and tropical fruit notes. So mixing with that Citra, we should get fruitiness. Mixing with that Chinook, maybe more citrus, so even bigger fruit citrus in here. Weedy. Weedy with a little bit of spice. Some sweetness is coming through on there. For the hops, or hop notes, I should say, maybe a little fruit. But I think that wheat smell is the biggest. By far. Definitely a different smell than all the rest of them. Let's go ahead and taste it. Big wheat, some spice, bitterness in the back. A little drier, but it is a little higher in ABV. I don't know if you could really tell. I don't know if it's just because I'm doing all these in one day that I'm picking up that this is drier. It actually tastes a lot drier than the other ones. A touch of fruitiness in there, but I think that wheat really sticks out. A little bit of rice spice in there, a touch of fruit, bitterness in the back. Aftertaste, more wheat. Very weedy beer, which is very weird. I don't know if it's the ABV because of that sugar that was taken out, even though it was just a little, that wheat would come through more. Maybe. I can't believe it would be that big. This one does feel a little lighter in body than the other two, but again, over 7%. Because it did ferment out a little bit more sugar, it is going to lead to a thinner bodied beer. Would I brew this one again? I don't believe so. I think with those hops, you know, we should be getting tropical. We should be getting citrus. And I think that wheat overpowers us a little too much. Why? I don't know. I don't know why this one would have this big of wheat in it, and the other two didn't. When it's not like I did a batch, you know, like most of my small gallon batches, I'll do a batch, I'll clean everything, I'll do another batch. This was a 5-gallon batch just split, and the only difference is the hops. Now maybe Azacca doesn't play well with these malts. I guess I would have to brew some more with it to see if I could bring it out. Maybe it's not as... I didn't write down the alpha acids on these. I don't believe it would be the ABV. I don't think the ABV going from that 6.89 up to 7.7 or 7.07 would actually do that much. But it does taste like a whole different beer. Like it was made differently than the other ones. Yeah, it really doesn't taste like it has those same characteristics as the other two. I do have 2 more to get through, then I'll do a side-by-side on all of them. But yeah, it seems like it's out of place. Like very out of place, at least in this. So hey, you live and you learn. I'll write it down to maybe use some of these same grains in another batch with Azacca, and maybe try another hop to see what it comes out as. But yeah, definitely one I wouldn't brew. So if you enjoyed this video, check some more out over here, and until next time, happy brewing.